My precious soul, something extraordinary is unfolding right now, and it was never meant to be ignored. This is not just another message that crossed your path by chance. No, this moment was appointed long before today. There is a reason your spirit paused here, a reason your eyes are fixed on these words, and a reason your heart feels that quiet pull you cannot explain. Because what is about to be revealed carries a divine urgency tied to July 8th, a date that heaven itself has marked. Listen carefully, because Archangel Michael is stepping forward with a message that changes everything you thought you understood about safety, about protection, and about your loved ones. There has been something moving behind the scenes, something you were never meant to see with your physical eyes. Forces, unseen and silent, have attempted to approach what belongs to you, your children, your family, your legacy. But here is the shocking truth that will leave you breathless. They never reached their destination. They were stopped, intercepted, locked before they could even come close. You may not have noticed it at the time. It may have looked like an ordinary day, a small delay, a sudden change of plans, or even something that felt inconvenient. But what you did realize is that those moments were not random. They were interventions, divine interruptions orchestrated by the heavenly host under the command of Archangel Michael himself. Right now, as you are hearing this, there are forces of protection surrounding your children, standing at the edges of your home, watching over the people you love in ways that defy human understanding. This is not symbolic. This is not poetic. This is real. There is a shield, an active, living shield, placed over your family line. And here is what makes this even more powerful. July 8th is not the beginning of this protection. It is the revelation of it. It is the moment your awareness catches up to what heaven has already been doing. Because you were never abandoned. Your loved ones were never left exposed. Even in moments when fear whispered lies into your mind, even when you questioned whether everything would be okay, heaven had already answered that question with action. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something that will shift your entire perspective. What is assigned to protect you is far greater than anything that could ever come against you. The battles you never saw were the ones that mattered most, and they have already been fought on your behalf. So why are you hearing this now? Because something is changing. Because the level of protection over your children and your loved ones is about to increase in a way you can feel, not just believe. And this message, this very moment, is your invitation to step into that awareness. Stay with me, because what is coming next will reveal the hidden signs that prove this protection has been active in your life all along. There is something you must understand, and once you see it clearly, you will never look at your life the same way again. Protection is not something that begins when danger appears. True protection is already in place long before anything tries to rise against you. And this is where most people misunderstand what is really happening in their lives. Every single day, there are movements taking place beyond what your eyes can see. There are decisions being made, paths being redirected, and outcomes being altered without your awareness. You may think you are simply going about your routine, making ordinary choices, living an ordinary life. But in the unseen realm, nothing about your life is ordinary. Archangel Michael stands as a commander, not just watching from a distance, but actively leading a heavenly army assigned to guard, defend, and preserve what has been entrusted to you. Your children are not just growing up under your care alone. Your loved ones are not walking through life unaccompanied. There is a divine structure surrounding them, a system of protection that operates with precision, timing, and authority. And here is what may surprise you: there have been moments when your family was being observed, moments when something was forming against them, something subtle, something quiet, something that never fully revealed itself. not because it did not exist, but because it was never allowed to complete its assignment. Think about the times when something almost went wrong but didn't. The moments when you felt a sudden urge to check on your child, to call someone, to change a plan. Those were not random instincts. Those were signals. Those were gentle nudges aligned with a greater protection, already in motion. What you call intuition is often divine coordination, and what you call coincidence is often heavenly intervention. Archangel Michael wants you to realize that your family has not been vulnerable the way you may have feared. Even in seasons where things felt uncertain, where you questioned whether everything would be okay, there were forces already positioned ahead of you, preparing the way, closing doors, and redirecting outcomes. There are things that were meant to touch your household that never made it past the boundary set around you. There are influences that tried to enter your space but were denied access. There are plans that were formed in silence but were dismantled before they could take shape in your reality. This is not to create fear. This is to reveal truth. Because once you understand that there has been a targeted awareness toward your family, you will also understand the magnitude of the protection that has been covering you all along. You are not hearing this message to worry. You are hearing this message to awaken to the fact that you have been defended at a level you never fully recognized. And now, something is shifting. The protection that has been quietly operating in the background is moving into a new phase. It is no longer just about silent intervention. It is about revealed assurance. It is about you becoming aware of what has been done and what continues to be done. July 8th stands as a spiritual marker, not because protection begins on that day, but because something about that protection becomes clearer, stronger, and more tangible to your spirit. It is as if a veil is lifting, allowing you to sense the reality of what has always been present. You are not alone in guarding your family. You were never meant to carry that responsibility by yourself. There is an army that does not sleep, does not grow tired, and does not lose focus. And they are not assigned randomly. They are assigned with purpose, with intention, and with full awareness of who you are and what your family represents. Stay with this message, because what is about to be revealed next will show you the undeniable signs that this protection has already been active in your life in ways you can no longer dismiss. Beloved, there are signs in your life that you can no longer ignore, signs that quietly testify that you and your loved ones have been under divine protection this entire time. You may have brushed them off before. You may have called them luck, coincidence, or simple timing. But now, in this moment, you are being called to see them for what they truly are, evidence. Think back carefully. There were moments when something could have gone terribly wrong, yet somehow it didn't. A delay that frustrated you at the time, but later you realize it kept you or your child away from harm. A sudden change of direction that made no sense in the moment but now feels like it was guiding you away from something unseen. Even those times when fear rose up inside you without explanation, only to disappear just as quickly, leaving behind an unexplainable calm. That calm was not random. That was covering. There were nights when your loved ones slept peacefully, unaware that anything could ever disturb them. But what you didn't see were the forces standing watch, guarding every entrance, every pathway, every possibility. You thought it was just another quiet night. Heaven knew it was a night of protection. And what about the times when you felt prompted to pray, even when there was no visible reason? When something deep within you said, "Pause, speak, cover your family right now." That was not your imagination. That was alignment. That was your spirit responding to a movement already happening in the unseen realm. Archangel Michael was already at work, and you were being drawn into agreement with that protection. There have even been moments when people or situations suddenly left your life, and at the time, it felt confusing or even painful. But now, you are beginning to realize that not every exit is a loss. Some exits are protection in disguise. Some separations are shields that prevent something harmful from taking root in your family's future. These are the signs. These are the fingerprints of divine intervention that have been present all along. And now, July 8th stands before you as a moment of confirmation. Not a beginning, but a revealing. It is the day where what has been hidden becomes clear, where what has been quietly done is brought into your awareness so that your faith can rise to a new level. Because once you recognize the pattern, once you see the evidence, you can no longer doubt the reality of the protection over your life. Archangel Michael is not only reminding you of what has already been done, but he is also declaring that this protection is increasing. It is expanding. It is strengthening around your children, your loved ones, and everything connected to your legacy. What once operated silently will now become something you can sense more deeply, something that brings you peace instead of uncertainty. You are being invited to trust what you have experienced, to connect the moments, to see the pattern, and to stand firm in the knowing that you have never been unprotected. So right now, pause and receive this truth fully. Type "divine covering is over my family" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 739 has just been released. And as this truth settles into your heart, understand this: what you are receiving is not just for you to hold on to. It is meant to flow, to reach others who are still in fear, still questioning, still wondering if heaven sees them. When you choose to support this message, you become part of that flow. You become a vessel that helps carry light into places where darkness had been speaking too loudly. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you," not as a distant promise, but as a living invitation. This is your moment to act. If your spirit is stirred, if you feel that pull within you, do not ignore it. Sow into this mission through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, or even through the QR code placed within this space. This is not just a contribution. It is a seed that releases protection, blessing, and expansion over your own household. As you give, declare within yourself, "I am partnering with heaven's work." And as you do, may every seed you sow return to you as peace, as protection, and as an overflow that touches your children and your generations to come. Step into this moment. Act now. There is a depth to this protection that goes far beyond what you have been shown so far, and it is time for you to truly understand how far it reaches. This is not only about today. This is not only about your present moment or the immediate safety of your loved ones. What is being established around you carries a generational weight, something that stretches far beyond what your eyes can see and even beyond the years you will personally witness. Archangel Michael is not just guarding individuals. He is guarding a legacy. And that changes everything. Because when heaven looks at you, it does not only see who you are today, it sees what flows through you. It sees what will come after you. It sees the children connected to your name, the lives that will be shaped by your decisions, and the generations that will rise because of what has been placed within your bloodline. This is why the protection around you is so intentional. There are patterns that try to repeat themselves through generations, cycles that attempt to pass from one life to another, quietly influencing outcomes, decisions, and paths. But what is being revealed in this moment is that those cycles are being interrupted. And protection over your life is not only defending, it is rewriting. There are things that may have affected those before you that will not be allowed to reach those after you. This is where the power of divine covering becomes undeniable. Because it does not simply block what is coming against you, it also transforms what would have continued through your family line. It creates a separation between what was and what will be. You may not have fully realized it, but you are standing at a turning point within your own lineage. The fact that you are hearing this message right now is not accidental. It is a sign that something about your position in your family line is different. You are not just passing through life. You are marking a shift. Archangel Michael stands at that point of shift, ensuring that what is meant to be preserved is preserved, and what is meant to be stopped is stopped completely. There is no halfway protection here. There is no uncertainty in this assignment. What has been placed over your family is precise, focused, and unwavering. And as this protection extends forward, it also stabilizes the present. Your children are not only being protected for today, they are being positioned for tomorrow. There are paths being cleared for them before they even walk them. There are opportunities being prepared before they even know to ask for them. And at the same time, there are dangers being removed before they ever become visible. This is what it means to have generational protection. It means your family is not walking into the future unguarded. It means there is a structure already in place that surrounds not just who they are now, but who they are becoming. And as you begin to understand this, something inside you will begin to settle. The fear that once tried to rise when you thought about the unknown will start to lose its hold. Because you are no longer looking at the future with uncertainty. You are looking at it with assurance. There is something powerful about knowing that your legacy is not left to chance, that it is not exposed to random outcomes or unguarded paths. It is being watched over with intention, guided with purpose, and protected with authority. And here is what you must hold on to as this truth unfolds within you. This protection is not fragile. It does not weaken. It does not fade. It does not depend on circumstances. It stands firm because it is established from a place far greater than anything that exists in the physical world. So as you continue forward, let this settle deep within your spirit. You are not just protected. Your legacy is covered. Your children are surrounded. And your generations are being secured in ways that will continue to reveal themselves in the days ahead. There is something even more profound that you are now being invited to see, something that goes beyond the idea of protection and steps into the reality of presence. Because when we speak of the heavenly host, we are not speaking of distant beings watching from afar. We are speaking of active, intentional, and precisely positioned guardians who are closer than you have ever imagined. Right now, even as you are listening to this message, there are forces surrounding your environment that you cannot physically detect, yet their presence is constant. They are not passing through. They are assigned, and their assignment is directly connected to you, to your children, and to every person tied to your life in a meaningful way. The heavenly host does not operate randomly. There is order in what they do. There is strategy in how they move. Every position they take, every moment they act, is aligned with a higher command. And that command flows through Archangel Michael, who leads with authority, clarity, and unwavering focus. Imagine this for a moment, not as imagination, but as truth. There are guardians stationed at the entrances of your home, not just the physical doors you can see, but the unseen gateways where influence, energy, and intention attempt to enter. Nothing crosses those boundaries without being recognized. Nothing approaches without being evaluated. Your children are not walking through their daily lives unnoticed. Whether they are at school, at play, or simply resting, there are forces positioned around them, ensuring that what is not meant for them does not reach them. Even in moments when you are not physically present, they are not unguarded. They are covered in ways that extend far beyond your reach. And your loved ones, those you care deeply about, those whose well-being often crosses your mind, are also within this same covering. There are moments when you feel a sudden peace about someone, even when you were previously concerned. That peace is not accidental. It is the result of something already secured on their behalf. This is what it means to have the heavenly host standing guard. It is not symbolic language. It is not something distant or abstract. It is active. It is present. It is happening continuously. There are movements taking place even in the quietest moments of your life. While you sleep, while you go about your day, while your attention is focused elsewhere, there is no lapse in this protection. It does not depend on your awareness. It does not weaken when you are distracted. It remains constant because it is anchored in something far greater than human effort. And here is something that will deepen your understanding even further. The presence of the heavenly host is not only defensive, it is also directive. They do not just block what should not happen, they also guide what should. There are moments when paths open in ways you did not expect, when opportunities appear at just the right time, when solutions come together in ways that feel almost too perfect to explain. Those are not coincidences. Those are guided outcomes. Archangel Michael ensures that the protection over your life is not limited to preventing harm, but also extends to positioning you and your family for what is meant to unfold. It is a complete covering, one that guards, directs, and sustains. So when you think about your life from this point forward, do not see yourself as someone navigating everything alone. Do not carry the weight of believing that every outcome depends solely on your decisions or your awareness, because that is not the truth. The truth is, there is a system of protection and guidance that has already been established around you. A system that does not fail. A system that does not overlook details. A system that remains fully committed to its assignment. And as this awareness grows within you, something will begin to shift internally. You will start to feel a sense of calm where there was once worry. You will begin to trust moments that previously felt uncertain. You will recognize that even when you do not understand everything, there is something in place that does. The heavenly host is not distant. They are present. They are active. And they are standing guard over everything that matters to you. There is something deeply personal that must be addressed now. Something that lives quietly within you even as you listen to these words. It is the part of you that worries when no one else sees it. The thoughts that come late at night. The silent questions you ask yourself about the safety of your children, the future of your loved ones, and whether everything will truly be okay. You may not always speak these fears out loud, but they exist. They rise in subtle ways. A sudden concern when someone is late. A moment of unease when something feels uncertain. A quiet tension when you think about the unknown. These feelings are real, and they come from a place of deep care, deep love, and deep responsibility. But here is what you must understand right now. Those fears, as real as they feel, are not the truth of your situation. They are reactions, not revelations. Because while you have been carrying those concerns within you, there has already been a greater reality surrounding your life. A reality that did not operate from fear, but from authority. A reality where nothing is left exposed, nothing is left unattended, and nothing is left to chance. Archangel Michael is speaking directly into that space within you, the space where doubt has tried to take hold, the space where worry has tried to settle. And the message is clear. What you cannot control has already been secured. You are not expected to foresee every danger. You are not required to predict every outcome. You are not responsible for holding everything together on your own. There is a difference between caring for your family and carrying the weight of fear over them. And for a long time, those two may have felt intertwined. You may have believed that your concern was part of your responsibility, that worrying somehow meant you were protecting. But the truth is, protection does not come from fear. It comes from alignment. And right now, you are being realigned with a truth that sets you free from that burden. Every time fear tries to rise within you, it is an invitation to remember what has already been established. It is a reminder to shift your focus from what could go wrong to what has already been secured. Because fear speaks in possibilities, but divine protection operates in certainty. Think about how many times you worried about something that never actually happened. How many scenarios played out in your mind that never became reality. That is because there were things already in place that prevented those outcomes from ever unfolding. What you felt as uncertainty was never a reflection of your reality. It was a reflection of what you could not see. And now, you are being shown what has always been there. Archangel Michael stands not only as a protector, but as a reassurance. A presence that speaks peace into the places where fear once tried to settle. A reminder that even when your thoughts drift toward worry, there is something far stronger holding everything in place. You do not have to fight every thought that comes into your mind. You simply have to recognize what is true. And the truth is this: your children are covered. Your loved ones are guarded. Your life is not as fragile as fear has tried to make you believe. There is a strength surrounding you that does not break under pressure, that does not weaken in uncertainty, and that does not disappear when you feel overwhelmed. So as you move forward from this moment, begin to release what was never yours to carry. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Let go of the belief that everything depends on your awareness alone. Because it does not. There is something greater at work. Something constant. Something unwavering. And as you allow that truth to settle within you, you will begin to feel a shift, not just in your thoughts, but in your entire being. A calm that replaces tension. A confidence that replaces doubt. A peace that does not need explanation. That is what happens when you stop listening to fear and start aligning with protection that has always been there. There is a reason this message has found you at this exact moment, and it goes deeper than simple timing. Out of countless voices, countless distractions, and countless paths your attention could have taken, you were led here. Not forced, not pressured, but guided. And that guidance itself is a sign that something within you has already aligned with what is being revealed. You may not have called it alignment before. You may have simply thought of it as curiosity, or a moment of reflection, or even just a pause in your day. But what is happening right now is far more intentional than that. There is something within your spirit that recognizes truth when it is spoken, even before your mind fully understands it. And that recognition is not accidental. It is the result of a connection that has been quietly forming over time. Every moment you chose to believe, even when it was difficult, every time you held on to hope when circumstances tried to pull you in the opposite direction, every quiet prayer, every silent thought, every intention you carried for the safety and well-being of your family, all of these have been shaping something within you. They have been aligning you. Alignment is not about perfection. It is not about always having the right words or never feeling doubt. It is about direction. It is about where your heart turns when it matters most. And your heart, even in moments of uncertainty, has continued to turn toward protection, toward faith, toward something greater than what you can see. That is why this message resonates with you. That is why it feels personal. Because you are not hearing something that is separate from you. You are recognizing something that has already been active within your life. Archangel Michael does not move without purpose. When a message reaches you in this way, it is because there is already an open path for it to land. There is already a readiness within you to receive it, even if you did not consciously realize it before now. And here is what is important for you to understand. This alignment is not just about receiving protection. It is about sustaining it. The more you recognize what has been placed over your life, the more you naturally begin to move in harmony with it. Your awareness sharpens. Your sensitivity to certain moments increases. You begin to notice when something feels right and when something does not. You begin to trust those inner signals more, not out of fear, but out of clarity. This is how protection becomes something you actively walk within, rather than something you passively hope for. There is a difference between hoping you are protected and knowing you are. And right now, you are being moved into that knowing. This is why your presence here matters. This is why your attention to this message matters. Because it is not just informing you, it is activating something within you. A deeper trust, a stronger awareness, a clearer connection to what has already been established around your life. You are not separate from this protection. You are part of its flow. And as this alignment continues to strengthen, you will begin to notice changes, not just around you, but within you. Decisions will feel clearer. Doubt will begin to fade more quickly. You will find yourself moving with a sense of quiet confidence, even in situations that once felt uncertain. That is not something you are forcing. That is something you are stepping into. Because when alignment takes place, everything begins to move differently. Not because the world around you has suddenly changed, but because you are now seeing it through a different awareness. An awareness that recognizes that you are supported, guided, and covered in ways that go beyond what you once believed. So do not dismiss this moment. Do not brush aside what you are feeling right now. Because this is more than a message. This is confirmation. This is alignment. And this is the beginning of you walking with a deeper understanding of the protection that has always been with you. There is a shift happening now, something that marks a clear turning point, and it is directly connected to July 8th. This is not just another day passing on the calendar. This is a spiritual checkpoint, a moment where what has been building quietly begins to intensify in a way that becomes impossible to ignore. Up until now, much of what has been happening around you has remained behind the veil. Protection has been active, guidance has been present, and interventions have been taking place. But most of it has remained unseen, operating without your full awareness. But this moment is different. Something is being brought forward. Something is being revealed. July 8th carries a weight that grows beyond time. It represents a point where the level of protection over your children and your loved ones begins to increase in a way that you will start to feel, not just believe. It is as if the boundary around your life is being reinforced, strengthened, and expanded all at once. And with that expansion comes clarity. You will begin to notice a difference in how you perceive things. Situations that once caused confusion will start to make more sense. Moments that once felt uncertain will begin to feel guided. There will be a quiet confidence rising within you, not because everything around you suddenly becomes perfect, but because something within you recognizes that you are not navigating alone. Archangel Michael is declaring that this is a moment of reinforcement, a moment where what has already been established is being elevated, a moment where the unseen becomes undeniable. There are things that will not be allowed to cross into your life beyond this point. Boundaries that were already in place are now being fortified. Areas that once felt vulnerable are now being sealed with a greater authority. And as this happens, you may even sense a shift in your environment, a change in how certain situations unfold, a difference in how quickly challenges are resolved or redirected. This is not coincidence. This is alignment meeting activation. There is also something else that comes with this shift, a deeper sense of peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on circumstances being perfect, but a peace that remains even when things are still unfolding. A peace that comes from knowing, not guessing, that you are covered. And this peace will begin to settle over your thoughts, your emotions, and even your physical presence. Others may notice it in you. They may not understand it, but they will sense that something about you is different. That you are not reacting the same way, that you are not carrying the same tension, that there is a calmness that was not there before. This is part of the shift. Because when protection intensifies, fear loses its place. When clarity increases, confusion begins to fade. When alignment strengthens, uncertainty begins to dissolve. And you are stepping into all of this right now. So do not overlook the significance of this moment. Do not treat it as something small or ordinary, because what is happening is neither small nor ordinary. It is a divine adjustment, a realignment that places you and your family under an even stronger covering than before. Pause for a moment and receive this fully. Type "My family is divinely guarded" in the comments if you feel this shift within you. Lesson code 8421 is now activated. And as this activation settles into your spirit, understand that this moment is not meant to stop with you. Just as protection flows, so must the message that awakens others to it. There are people still living in silent fear, still carrying burdens they were never meant to carry, still unaware that heaven has already moved on their behalf. Hear this as a divine invitation. As you sow, so shall you reap, says the living word, and this is your moment to sow into something eternal. When you release your support through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in the description, or even through the QR code before you, you are not just giving, you are planting into a harvest of protection, peace, and awakening for countless souls. Say it within yourself now. I step into obedience, I release what I carry, and I partner with this light. And as you act, know that what you release will return to you multiplied, covering your household with even greater assurance. Move with this prompting. Respond without delay. This is your moment to act. There is a revelation that must now be spoken, something that carries a weight of finality, something that shifts this message from reassurance into undeniable victory. Because what you are about to understand is not just that you have been protected, but that something specifically planned against your family line has already been stopped, completely and permanently. This is not a possibility. This is not a hope. This is a completed action. There was something forming, something that had intention behind it, something that was quietly aligning itself with the purpose of disrupting, delaying, or weakening what has been placed within your life and your legacy. It was not random. It was not without direction. It had a target. But it failed. And it did not fail because of chance. It failed because it was confronted by a force it could not overcome. Archangel Michael stepped into that moment long before it could ever reach you, before it could take shape in your reality, before it could manifest in a way that you would recognize. It was already being dismantled. Every part of it was addressed. Every angle was covered. Every pathway it could have taken was blocked. And what you must understand is this: what was stopped will not return in the same form. It has been denied access. It has been removed from the path of your family's future. There are things you will never have to face, not because they were not real, but because they were never allowed to reach you. There are outcomes that were erased before they could ever become part of your story. There are disruptions that were silenced before they could ever speak into your life. This is the level of authority that stands over you. This is the level of precision that has been operating on your behalf. And now, you are being made aware of it, not to create fear about what could have happened, but to establish confidence in what has already been secured. Because once you know that something was specifically aimed and specifically stopped, your understanding of protection changes completely. It is no longer general. It is personal. It is targeted in its defense, just as what came against you was targeted in its intent. Archangel Michael is not reacting after the fact. He is acting before anything can take hold. He is positioning, blocking, and clearing with an authority that does not hesitate and does not miss. And here is where your perspective must shift even further. You are not moving forward trying to avoid what might come against you. You are moving forward from a place where what needed to be stopped has already been stopped. There is a difference between living cautiously and living confidently. Caution looks over its shoulder. Confidence looks ahead. And what you are stepping into now is confidence rooted in truth, not assumption. Because when something has already been defeated, it no longer holds power over your future. When something has been removed from your path, it no longer defines your direction. When something has been blocked at its source, it no longer has access to your reality. So take a moment and let this settle within you. There is nothing chasing you. There is nothing waiting ahead to take you by surprise. There is no unfinished threat lingering in the background. What needed to be addressed has already been handled. And as you continue forward, this awareness will begin to change how you see everything around you. Situations that once caused hesitation will no longer have the same hold. Decisions that once felt uncertain will begin to feel clearer. You will start to move with a sense of assurance that cannot be shaken easily. Because you now know something that changes everything. You are not walking into the unknown unguarded. You are walking forward from a place of victory. And that victory is not partial. It is complete. There is a quiet strength that is beginning to rise within you now, and it is not coming from what you see around you, but from what you are starting to understand within you. Because once you truly grasp that your life and your loved ones are under divine protection, something shifts in the way you approach everything. You begin to trust differently. Not blindly, not carelessly, but deeply. There is a difference between hoping things will work out and knowing that they are already being guided. And that knowing changes the way you respond to uncertainty. It changes the way you handle delays, the way you interpret challenges, and even the way you view moments that do not go according to your plans. Because now, you are no longer measuring your life only by what is visible. You are recognizing that there is a timing at work that does not always match your expectations, but always aligns with your protection. There have been times when you questioned why something did not happen the way you wanted, why a door did not open, why a situation did not resolve as quickly as you hoped, why something you thought was right did not move forward. In those moments, it may have felt like resistance, like something was being withheld from you. But what if those moments were not delays? What if they were decisions made on your behalf? What if what you perceived as a setback was actually a form of protection? Because when divine protection is active, not every no is a denial. Sometimes it is a redirection. Sometimes it is a shield that prevents you from stepping into something that was not meant for you or your family. Sometimes it is a pause that allows something better to align before you move forward. And this is where trust becomes essential. Not the kind of trust that depends on immediate results, but the kind that remains steady even when you do not fully understand what is happening. The kind that says, even if I cannot see the full picture, I know that I am being guided within it. Archangel Michael is calling you into that level of trust. A trust that does not waver with circumstances. A trust that does not weaken when things feel uncertain. A trust that is anchored in the understanding that your life is being watched over with precision and care. This does not mean you will never face challenges. It does not mean every moment will feel easy or predictable. But it does mean that nothing you face will be outside the covering that has been placed over you. It means that even in difficulty, there is protection. Even in confusion, there is guidance. Even in waiting, there is preparation. And as you begin to embrace this truth, something powerful happens. You stop reacting out of fear, and you start responding with confidence. You stop trying to force outcomes, and you begin to flow with what is unfolding. You stop questioning every step, and you begin to move with a sense of quiet assurance. This is not passivity. This is alignment with a higher order. Because when you trust in the protection that surrounds you, you also begin to trust in the path that is opening before you. You begin to see that everything is not happening to you. It is happening for you, within a structure that is designed to preserve, guide, and strengthen you and your loved ones. There is also a peace that comes with this level of trust, a peace that does not need constant confirmation. It settles within you and remains, even when circumstances shift. It becomes a foundation that you can stand on, no matter what is happening around you. So as you move forward, carry this with you, not as a thought you occasionally return to, but as a truth you live from. You are not navigating your life alone. You are not making decisions in isolation. You are not facing the future without covering. Everything is under watch. Everything is under care. And everything is moving according to a timing that is aligned with your protection. Trust that. Walk in that. And allow that trust to shape the way you experience everything that comes next. There is a vision unfolding before you now, not one shaped by fear or uncertainty, but one rooted in promise, stability, and divine assurance. This is not imagination. This is a glimpse into what becomes possible when protection is not only present, but fully understood and embraced. Begin to see your children, not through the lens of worry, but through the lens of covering. See them growing, learning, and moving through life with a confidence that is quietly supported by something greater than themselves. There will be moments in their journey where they face decisions, challenges, and turning points, but they will not face them alone. There will always be a guidance, a redirection, a protection that keeps them aligned with what is meant for them. Even when they step into spaces you cannot physically reach, they will not be outside of the covering that has been placed over them. That is the power of what surrounds your family. It does not depend on your proximity. It does not weaken with distance. It remains constant, ensuring that wherever they go, they are not alone. And your loved ones, those whose well-being matters deeply to you, will also begin to move within this same flow of protection. You may start to notice changes in their lives, subtle at first, but undeniable over time. Situations resolving more smoothly, unexpected help appearing at just the right moment, paths opening where there once seemed to be obstacles. These are not random improvements. They are the unfolding of what has already been established. There is also something that will begin to take root within your family as this awareness deepens, a sense of peace that becomes part of your environment. Not just something you feel occasionally, but something that becomes consistent. A calm presence that fills your home, that settles conversations, that shapes the atmosphere in ways you may not even fully notice at first. This peace is not dependent on everything going perfectly. It exists even when life is still moving, still changing, still unfolding. It is a result of knowing that there is a covering that does not break, that does not fade, and that does not fail. And as this peace becomes more present, it will begin to influence how your family experiences life. Reactions will soften. Fear will have less space to take hold. There will be a greater sense of steadiness, even in moments that once felt uncertain. This is how protection transforms not just situations, but entire environments. It shapes the way your family lives, the way they respond, and the way they move forward. There is also a generational impact that continues to unfold from this. What is being established now does not end with you or with this moment. It continues. It carries forward into the lives that will come after, into the paths that will be walked in the future, into the stories that will be written long after today. Your children will carry this covering with them, and in ways they may not even fully understand, they will pass it forward. This is how legacy is protected, not just by preserving what exists now, but by ensuring that what comes next is also guarded, guided, and aligned. So as you hold this vision, do not see it as something distant or uncertain. See it as something that is already in motion, something that is already unfolding, step by step, moment by moment, in ways both seen and unseen. Because the future of your family is not left to chance. It is being shaped. It is being guided. It is being protected. And as you continue forward, you will begin to witness more and more evidence of this reality. Not all at once, not in overwhelming ways, but in consistent, undeniable moments that remind you that what has been spoken is true. Hold on to that vision. Let it replace every doubt. Let it quiet every fear. Because what lies ahead is not uncertainty. It is a future covered in protection, sustained by peace, and guided with purpose. My beloved, as this message comes to its gentle close, allow everything you have just received to settle deeply within your spirit. This was never just about information. This was about reassurance. This was about lifting a weight you may not have even realized you were carrying and replacing it with something far stronger, peace. On July 8th, Archangel Michael has revealed something that was always true, but is now clear in a way you can hold on to. The protection over your children, your loved ones, and your entire legacy is not fragile. It is not uncertain. It is not temporary. It is established, constant, and unwavering. You can breathe differently now. You can rest in a way you may not have allowed yourself to before. Because the truth is, you were never alone in watching over those you love. Even in moments when you felt the weight of responsibility pressing on you, even when your thoughts drifted toward concern, there was already a presence surrounding everything that matters to you. And that presence has not left. It remains. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian, not just for a moment, not just for a season, but continuously. The heavenly host remains in position, not shifting with uncertainty, but standing firm with purpose. What has been placed over your life is not something that fades when you are not thinking about it. It is something that continues, whether you see it or not, whether you feel it or not. And now you do feel it. There is a calm that has begun to replace the tension. There is a quiet assurance that has taken the place of doubt. There is a sense of safety that goes beyond explanation. Hold on to that. Let it become your new normal. Because this is what it means to truly receive what hath been revealed to you. Not just to hear it, but to live from it. To allow it to shape how you think, how you feel, and how you move forward. From this moment on, when fear tries to rise, you will remember this truth. When uncertainty tries to whisper, you will return to this knowing. When questions try to form, you will stand in what has already been answered. Your children are covered. Your loved ones are guarded. Your legacy is protected for generations to come. And nothing that was meant to disrupt that has the authority to remain. So take this final moment to fully receive. Type "I trust the divine protection over my family" in the comments if you are standing in this truth. Blessing code 9912 is now released over your life. And as this peace fills your spirit, hear this calling clearly. The same covering that has protected your household is the same light that must reach others who are still living in fear. The Lord speaks, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days," and this is your moment to release a seed that carries protection into another life. Say this within your heart: "I am called to extend this covering beyond myself." Enact on it. So through super thanks, or release your offering through the PayPal link waiting in the description, or through the QR code before you. This is not a simple act of giving. It is a prophetic movement that opens the heavens over your house and sends rivers of peace into homes that have been crying out. As you give, may every seed return as multiplied protection, multiplied peace, and multiplied favor over your children and their children after them. Step into this obedience now. Release it without hesitation. Let your action become part of someone else's miracle. Your full script is now complete.